Everyone, welcome to this session. We are discussing the past year question papers, and we are taking up the legal reasoning section of the CLAT 2026. And in continuance of that, we have already discussed passage 1 in another video. So now we will talk about the next passage. We'll talk about the next questions that we have. So starting with the passage, we'll read the passage together. We will analyze the question, and then we will eliminate option, arrive at the right answer, and explain the right answer accordingly. So let's come to the passage. Here's the passage. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So the passage says, I may here trace the history of the shaping of the preamble, because this would show that the preamble was in conformity with the constitution as it was finally accepted. Not only was the constitution framed in the light of the preamble, but the preamble was ultimately settled in the light of the constitution. So the passage is talking about preamble. What is the relevance of preamble? How important is the preamble? And is it a part of the constitution? It is seen in the light of the constitution, or is it an independent text? So that is what we are discussing here. And it says that it was not, the preamble was framed in the light of constitution, and constitution was also framed in the light of the preamble. So both are balancing each other. In the earliest draft, the preamble was something formal and read, we the people of India, seeking to promote the common good, do hereby through our chosen representative enact, adopt and give to ourselves this constitution. As you know, that the current constitution that we have and the current preamble that we have in the constitution, that says that we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens, it talks about justice, it talks about liberty, it talks about equality. So in that light, this is how the earliest draft was slightly different, where it talked about promoting the common good, it talked about through our chosen representatives. So this is the change that we see in the earliest draft and the current preamble. After the plan of June 3, 1947, which led to the decision to partition the country and to set up two independent dominions of India and Pakistan, on June 8, 1947, a joint subcommittee of the Union Constitution and Provincial Constitution Committees took note that the objective resolution would require amendment in view of the latest announcement of the British government. So when it was decided that India will be divided into two dominions, India and Pakistan, so that the committees took note that the objective resolution would require amendment because of this. The announcement of June 3 had made it clear that full independence in the form of dominion status would be conferred on India as from 15th August 1947. So this date was decided. After examining the implication of partition, the subcommittees thought that the question of making changes in the objective resolution could appropriately be considered only when effect had actually been given to the June 3 plan. So we are talking about objective resolution and whether it is coming into force, and do we have to make changes in the objective resolution after the decision of partition of India. Later on, July 12, 1947, the special subcommittee again postponed consideration of the matter. So it was postponed again. The Union Constitution Committee provisionally accepted the preamble as drafted by B.N. Rao and reproduced it in its report on 4th July 1947 without any change, with the tacit recognition at that stage that preamble would be finally based on the objective resolution. So this was finally decided that preamble would be finally based on the objective resolution. In a statement circulated to members of the Assembly on July 18, 1947, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru inter alia observed that the preamble was covered more or less by the objective resolution, which it was intended to incorporate in the final constitution, subject to some modifications on account of the political changes resulting from partition. So this is the passage, talks about preamble, talks about objective resolution, talks about the partition and how it affected the inclusion of preamble in the constitution. So all that has been discussed here. Let's see the kind of questions that are formed from this passage. Question number 59 says that According to the passage, the relationship between the Constitution and preamble can be best described as: option A, the preamble was drafted in isolation. Option B, the Constitution and preamble were framed independent of each other. Option C, both the Constitution and the preamble were shaped in the light of each other. And option D, the preamble had no relevance to the Constitution. So of course we can eliminate option D we can eliminate, because it says that the preamble had no relevance. The whole passage is about preamble. Preamble is very important to the Constitution of India. So we cannot have D as the correct answer. Then option A says preamble was drafted in isolation. As you can see, the whole passage talks about how it had to be balanced with the Constitution, how they were shaped in light of each other. So of course the preamble was not drafted in isolation. It was drafted in consideration of the content of the Constitution of India and how both are related. So it was not drafted in isolation. So we can eliminate option A also. Option B says the Constitution and the preamble were framed independent of each other. So the Constitution was framed independently and preamble was framed independently, but by the simple reading of the passage we know that this is not the case. Both were shaped in light of each other, as is given in the third option, in option C. Both the Constitution and the preamble were shaped in the light of each other, which is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. I will also show you the relevant part here. It says that not only was the Constitution framed in the light of the preamble, but the preamble was ultimately settled in the light of the Constitution. So both were shaped in the light of each other, as has been given in the third option, the option C, which is the correct answer to this question. Moving forward, same passage. What did the earliest draft of the preamble emphasize? Did it emphasize liberty, equality and fraternity, or sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, or formal elected by the people through representative, or unity and integrity of the nation? See, it is talking about the earliest draft, the first draft of the preamble. So these words, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, these are there in the final version of the preamble that we have. It also talks about liberty, equality, fraternity, but the earliest draft, as has been given in the passage, it talks about formal enactment by the people through representatives. It talks about formal enactment. I'll show you the passage again. Through representatives. See, it read that we the people of India, seeking to promote the common good, through our chosen representative, enact, adopt and give to ourselves this Constitution. So it is talking about chosen representatives. This is the earlier draft of the preamble, and that is why we have C as the correct answer, which takes care of this thing, that it is enacted by the people through representatives, which is the earliest draft of the preamble. So we will go with C as the correct answer. Although you might get confused regarding unity, integrity, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, liberty, equality and fraternity, but these are the later adoptions. Earlier, and anyway, the word secular was added by 42nd amendment of the Constitution of India. So definitely B cannot be the right answer, because we are talking about the earliest draft. And what earliest draft talked about was formal enactment by the people through representatives. C is the correct answer. Which of the following is not enshrined in the preamble of the Constitution of India? So what is not enshrined? Equality of status and opportunity, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, justice, moral, ethical and legal, or fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual. Now this question cannot be answered by the passage. You have to know the preamble. You should be able to remember the preamble. So it talks about equality of status and of opportunity, which is the correct statement. So A cannot be the right answer, because question is saying what is not there, what is not enshrined. So equality of status and opportunity is there. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, it is also there in the preamble. We have fraternity assuring the dignity of the individual. This is also there in the preamble. But justice, what kind of justice are we talking about? Moral, ethical, and legal. This is something that you will not find in the preamble. And let's look at the text of the preamble to understand what exactly is the order of the word. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice. What type of justice? Social justice, economic justice, political justice, not moral and ethical justice. It is a moral justice, ethical justice, legal justice. No, we are talking about social, economic, and political. So this is the correct answer because this is not enshrined in the preamble to the Constitution of India. Option C is something that is not there in the preamble. So we will go with C as the correct answer. The preamble further says, let's look at all the aspects. Equality. Equality of what? Equality of status, equality of opportunity, and equality to promote among them fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual. All this was given in the passage in the question. Assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nations. Then it says that in our Constituent Assembly on this 26th day of November 1949, do we hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So this is the complete text of the preamble. Being a CLAT aspirant, please try to remember this, because as you see that questions has been asked regarding the exact content of the preamble, not only of the earliest draft that was given in the passage, but also the preamble as it is in the current enactment. Okay, so same passage, coming to the next question. Which has been rightly arranged according to the preamble of the Constitution of India. This again requires your memory, requires whether you can list the items that are all the text that is used in the preamble. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. This is one. Sovereign, secular, socialist, democratic republic. This is option 2. Option C is sovereign, socialist, democratic, secular republic, and option D is secular, socialist, sovereign, and democratic republic. So always know the order. The order is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. SSSDR. So sovereign at first position, socialist, then secular, then democratic, and then republic. This is the order that you can see in the Constitution. I'll show you again. See, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. Try to remember the order as it has directly been asked in the CLAT paper. Okay. The preamble of the Constitution of India is finally based on what? The objective resolution, the report of the Union Constitution Committee, the June 3 plan of the British government, or the report of a special subcommittee of the Constituent Assembly. Now if you will come to the passage says that preamble would be finally based on the objective resolution directly given in the passage. All you have to do is apply the information given in the passage, and you will arrive at the right option, which is option A, the objectives resolution. Also, the passage talks about June 3 plan of the British government, talks about partition, talks about the two dominions, but that is not relevant here. What is relevant is the preamble is based on what? So the preamble is based on the objective resolution directly given in the passage. You don't have to go anywhere else. So this is the question. Okay, the last question of this passage. What was the role of Sir B.N. Rao in the making of the Indian Constitution? So this again is not given in the passage. The passage talks about Sir B.N. Rao, but it does not mention what the position that he had. The Union Constitution Committee provisionally accepted the preamble as drafted by B.N. Rao and reproduced in its report on 4th July 1947 without any change. So it mentions B.N. Rao but does not say what position he held. So he was the constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly. This again is your legal GK that you should be aware of. So constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly, that was the role of Sri B.N. Rao, Sir B.N. Rao. Option A says chairman of the drafting committee, and as we know that Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. So B.R. Ambedkar is the answer for option A, but of course it is asking the constitutional advisor, so we'll go with Sir B.N. Rao. He was not the president of the Constituent Assembly, he was not the member of the Union Powers Committee. So if you know this answer, you can directly go to option B and take this as the correct answer. So yeah, so this question again, as we saw that this passage had certain questions and it required your ability to recall the words used in the preamble, the order in which the words are used, who is the constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly. All these are knowledge based questions and only few questions could be answered from the passage. So always be prepared for a mix of questions where there are some questions that you can answer directly from the passage without much effort, and then there are some questions that require your legal GK, that require your knowledge, that require your approach towards the question accordingly. So that's it from this passage. Thank you so much. See you in the next session where we'll discuss the next passage of the legal reasoning of CLAT 2026. Thank you so much. All the best.